What's going on, everybody? Brian here, and I want to talk to you guys today about why the heck you should buy a gaming PC or make a gaming PC, but PCs in general. I'm talking to all you console owners out there. Now, this video it's gonna be kind of basic. I mean, I'm not gonna get into anything super in depth that's gonna blow your mind. This isn't a why in 2021 this is a perfect time to build a PC, because in reality this is not a perfect time to build a PC. PCs are more expensive now. We have these tariffs over in China where video cards are just stupid expensive now, but if you can get past that hurdle, if you can find one used, if you can pull one out of an old PC, you don't need the latest and greatest graphics card to build a PC that the kind, at least, that I'm going to talk about, that's going to be able to do all the types of things that I think make PCs so much of a better choice in 2021 than a console. So yeah, let's get into it. So I wrote a list. We got 5 reasons why to buy a PC, and forgive me, I literally took 3 minutes to write this list. I wanted to get this out there because I've been talking to a lot of friends who have consoles, and I go to their houses and I see their consoles, and I'm just like, this runs like trash. None of them have played Cyberpunk yet. They can't even buy Cyberpunk. And it's just, there's all these things. I'm like, I have been enjoying my PC so much. I'm like, I just want to convince everybody to build a PC. And it's been so rewarding to build a PC. I don't stop talking about it. If you're a friend of mine, you've probably heard me so many times tell you, hey, I built my PC, and I'll help you build yours too. I just watched a bunch of YouTube videos. There's this guy, Scarlet Volt, I think is his name, something like that. Just type in budget PC under $300, budget PC under $500, $400. Type any of those in. You're going to have so many videos of people teaching you how to do this and the things that you need. That's what I did. I ended up going for a semi-expensive mid-tier PC, Ryzen 3800, and which is the processor, and then I went with a RTX just 2060, like the intro model. It's not even that great, but hey, I'm playing everything at ultra settings, like over 60 frames per second, like consistently. So that's what my setup is. But let's get into the list. This has been quite an intro. All right, so PCs are super powerful today. Now this is number one. Now this is, like I said, this isn't a mind-blowing concept, but if you haven't checked in with PCs lately, the technology has jumped dramatically over the past 3 to 4 years. Like the past 4 years, all of the video cards and all of the processors have just gotten so much better. This company Ryzen, they have been destroying Intel. So the i3, i7, all that kind of stuff, that's really not where you should be going with the PC. You should be going with Ryzen, where you can get and there's so many different kinds. Just go with one of their older models where they have a quad core, a 6 core, an 8 core. These are going to be PCs that are, like, if you remember 6 or 7 years ago, like the best PCs then were, and don't quote me on this, but they were, they're like dual cores, like they had 2 cores. The most basic PCs have 4 cores now. It's like they're twice as good as those top of the line PCs when PC gaming really started coming out. So I don't know if you guys know that or understand that. For me, I didn't realize that like I could just buy like a cheaper PC and it's going to be better than literally any of the older PCs when I was in my early 20s looking at, gaming, and I was like, oh, well, I can't afford this stuff. That stuff is just bottom tier i3s can play like AAA titles. Just so you know that. And like bottom tier like Ryzen CPUs they can play any title. It's like it's funny when people say like, oh, like what are the specs, like can this PC play? It's like that's not a thing anymore. That used to be a thing when like when people had some really old hardware, but that's just not a thing. Any bottom tier PC, as long as it has a graphics card and an i3, you can play anything. It's insane. So PCs are super powerful now. That's number one. Sorry, I went a little long on that one. And they're not as expensive as you think. Now, like I said, that's a caveat. The video cards are expensive right now. They're hard to find. That sucks. You're going to have to either eat that cost or you're going to have to figure that out in your own way. Buy used. If you do, be very careful. Make sure you know it works before you buy used. But it's possible. It's possible. I got a hand-me-down one before. I ended up, I was going to build an extra PC and then it didn't happen. I ended up selling it off. But You can find, like I said, find one that's 6 years old that was like a mid-tier 6 years ago. You can find those for less than a couple $100. You can find those less than $100 too if you're buying on Craigslist or OfferUp. Again, be careful. But you can do it, and they can run any game today. And I know I'm a lot of vague things out here. I'm saying they can run anything. And it's like, well, what can run anything? You should be a little more specific. But do your research, I guess. There's so many people out there that will tell you about this stuff on YouTube who have dedicated channels about this stuff. But I'm just the point of this video is I just want to open up your mind to so you guys know hey, you don't need to buy a $2,000 PC. You don't need to buy a MacBook. Don't ever do that. You can build you can Frankenstein a PC together with really cheap parts, and it will be able to play anything you want it to play. Just trust me on that. Trust me. All right, so number 3, games run so much smoother on PC. Duh. Like I said, I've been going to my friends' houses, and when I watch them play games at 30 frames per second on the PlayStation, and the PlayStation's sounding like a jet engine, it saddens me. It saddens me, and the performance is so insanely different. And once you get used to it, you start seeing it. It's one of those things you're like, I didn't know, I never knew where to buy a mattress until I needed to buy a mattress. Then there's mattress stuff everywhere. Does that make sense? What I'm saying is you're gonna start noticing it. When you have the higher performance, you start noticing it, and you don't want to go back. And that could be a bad thing because what if you do have to go back eventually? But it's also a glorious thing. It's a glorious thing because everything runs at higher frame rates. Games have better support. They can get patched easier and quicker. If you look in Cyberpunk, that build is going to work better. The PC build is almost always going to work better. Always, always, always. There's some cases where maybe that's not true, but trust me, 99% of the time, if you have a game that's on multiple consoles but it's on PC, the PC version is going to run the best. That's going to become more important as we go forward in this world of pushing games out way before they're ready. Cyberpunk is a perfect example. And while I still played some glitchy Cyberpunk, it was insanely better than it could have been, if I played it on a console. So, and that being said, games are coming to PC also. So don't worry. Yes, you can't play, The Last of Us. You can't play Mario Kart. I mean, to be honest, you can do that if you have a good enough PC and you know how. But trust me, a lot of games come to PC. You're not going to run out of games, and a lot of cheaper games. This is not on the list, but oh my gosh, I've bought 100 games for $5 before, on GOG or on Steam. And there's this new launcher, Epic Games launcher. They have their own, Epic Games has their own launcher. They give away a free game every week. It's free. You just have to have an account. You click, you download it. It's free, and they're big titles like Borderlands. They got Civilization. You got so many games. A bunch of little cool indie games too. So many games are just dirt cheap or they're free. That's a free one. That wasn't even on the list, but that is. Trust me, that's awesome. Oh, number 4, mods. Dude, this is the thing that I've been getting into lately. Okay, so this is what's gotten me so excited and why I wanted to talk to people about this. Because when I was younger, the coolest game in the whole world was Oblivion. Oblivion was the coolest game. It blew my mind. Had this whole open world. I didn't even play the main quest. I just went around, talked to people, stole things, and sold it on the black market, and was in the Thieves Guild, and I had a bow and arrow, and I was a wood elf. It was so much fun. That game blew my mind, and I remember when I was playing it, I was just after, playing it for 150 hours, I was like, I just wish there was more weapons, more unique weapons, some interesting, different stuff. I wish there's a little bit more variety. It wouldn't be that hard, just something a little different so I can stand out. Okay, mods are hard to do at first. There's a barrier to entry, but just watch a YouTube video again. There's channels that talk about this. But I just downloaded a mod where it had 2,000 more weapons in that game. It had there's a mod where you can just add 100 NPCs that have more dialogue, and they give you, more quests. There's just so many different things. And then I realized, I'm playing Oblivion. Skyrim has one of the biggest modding communities in the world, and people right now are actually remaking all of Oblivion in the Skyrim engine. How insane is that? And Fallout has an insane mod community as well. They're coming out with DLC size or whole game size mods that are free, where people are making whole new campaigns, fully voiced, AAA title tier, gaming experiences for free if you just own the game and you download the mod. You have like it's insane. They're like connecting all of the maps from Fallout. They're like connecting the maps from Oblivion, like I was saying, to Skyrim and all that. It's crazy. It's crazy the amount of mods there are. And it was something I was a little worried about. But there's so you go to what do you go to the Nexus. The Nexus. It's a website. Type in Nexus mods, and then you download the Vortex, and it's just like a mod manager. Has plugins. It's pretty simple. You're gonna have to read a little bit. Ask me if you need help with that. I'm not an expert, but it's tight, dude. It's hella tight. Okay, so this video is over 10 minutes now, so let me get to my last one. PCs can do so many other things other than just play video games. Now, this is obvious, but this was why I could justify paying as much as I did for my PC, because I also do photography, I also do videography, I also do a little bit of music and stuff like that, and I can just do all of that. I can do all of that right now. I have FL Studio. I can open that up. I can make a beat. I can make a song. I can produce a whole song. It sounds great. It's insane. It's just crazy the kind of stuff that you can do. I edit video on here. I edit photos, and I do that for a business. I get paid to do that. There's so many creative tools. You can download the Adobe Creative Cloud. There's super low prices for that, where you can start learning things like Photoshop, Adobe, Premiere, InDesign. My girlfriend and I share an account where she does all the design stuff. I do all of the photography and video stuff, and we have all these high-level professional tools where we're becoming proficient in them. And it costs us like $30 a month, and we split it, something like that. I think there's different prices if you're students. We might have a student discount. I don't know. It's cheap. You can do just like the Photoshop and Lightroom. That's just the photography stuff. You can do that for just $10 a month. It's crazy cheap. And then these music programs, they're cheap as well. There's a lot of free ones. There's so many things you can do. I mean, obviously, like I said, there's nothing groundbreaking in this video. I just kind of want to like inspire you to be like, hey, get a PC. Get a cheap one. Go and look for a $500 used gaming PC and make sure it works. Don't go and buy a piece like a doorstop for $500. Please don't do that. Or get excited, build one. Spend some money in there. If you get a stimulus check, buy a PC with it. That's what I did with mine. That's honestly what I did. That's what I used it for. I think, probably. I don't remember. But anyways, yeah, that's that. That's the video. I just wanted to talk about that. I love PCs. I'm so excited. I can make these videos too. Did I mention that? There's so many cool things. Make a YouTube channel where you have 50 followers. All right, I'm done. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment. Let me know. Do you have a PC? Do you want to buy a PC? Are you watching this on your phone? And you're like, dang, I need to get a PC. Let me know in the comments. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.